32 started the tournament, only 8 remain, and after tonight it will be 7. Hello everyone and welcome to Randomania alongside Chitin619. I'm Ferran Burgundy and we have a quarterfinal matchup for you here in the 2018 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament. We have an unlikely seeding pairing if you were filling out your brackets in the beginning here. The 20-seeded gameboyf9 and the 21-seeded TristalMTG, just like you draw it up in any bracket tournament, but not necessarily in this case, as the numbers might be a little fooling, as gameboyf9 and Tristal are two of the top 5 ranked players in SRL. So it's a little deceiving to say the least,
Yes, indeed, because both of them are very seasoned veterans of the randomizer. I just wonder how well they'll serve for today's seed that's coming up very shortly.
Most certainly. And for those not as seasoned, the object of Dragon Warrior is for our racers to find and defeat the evil Dragon Lord. They'll need to collect certain key items to trade in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow the runners to enter Charlotte Castle, home of the Dragon Lord. They'll also be fighting enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, as well as gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help in their quest. Now, this is Randomania, so of course things have to be randomized. And what's randomized in Dragon Warrior Randomizer? Quite a bit. The map, the treasure chest and search spot contents, the town and cave locations, the weapon and armor shop contents, the enemy locations and enemy spells and abilities are randomized, as well as the order of spells learned, though they're guaranteed to learn all 10 spells by level 16. And we are underway, the king giving the instructions. We're going to see what 3 items are going to help out. We know one of them is a magic key to start off with. We've got the cursed belt, that's a bit of a whammy in this case, but we have the wings, which will allow our runners to hold on to that magic key, and both runners doing just that. So a free key that can be used to open one of the doors, more than likely the treasury, and I think both of our runners are going to be checking that out here momentarily. But first, they're going to save with the king. They're going to more than likely see what's in the treasury, and if it's nothing to their liking, they'll more than likely hit the reset button. And we start off, we've got Erdrick's sword, also the death necklace, the fighter's ring. So that is going to definitely help out, and then some. Quick death on Tristal's side. And we've got a level on Game Boy's side. Ooh, and a Poltergeist sending Tristal back to the start. Meanwhile, another level here for Game Boy. Already up to level 3 at 2 minutes and 10 seconds in.
And he just learned outside, and thus he's going to keep getting levels at this rate. Well, speaking of levels, level 4 just came up.
Yep, and the spell of sleep along with it. Tristal, meanwhile, has acquired a level, and Game Boy taking the first death, running out of resources here. Tristal opting to do a little bit of exploring, perhaps looking to see if there's a nearby town. And we have 2 over on Game Boy's side. One of them is Hawk's Nest, that is a town infested with enemies, and a blue dragon taking out Tristal. as Game Boy is going to go up to level 5. And we have the town of Cantlin, the proverbial shopping mall of Alfgard. Meanwhile, here is level 3 for Tristal. And chat noting that there's a silver shield in Cantlin. And also noting that, yes, with the contents of the Tangible Treasury, no potential gold grind available, at least not yet, not a traditional or conventional one. Lorgon, we have not yet seen what is in the basement.
And it seems Game was going to go for more exploring on the west side.
And the blue dragon is not the kind of friend that Tristal wants. Nor is a Star Wyvern on Game Boy's side. And chat, if you could help me out, I saw that we had the Fighter's Ring, the Death Necklace, and Erdrick's Sword. What was the 4th chest in the treasury?
That was actually a torch.
A torch, okay. We have level 4 now for Tristal. And we have a cave on Game Boy's side who doesn't look to be using that one torch.
I believe he's in Mountain Cave by the way he's looking at his movements.
That would be correct, and that has 5 chests in there, the first of which is a magic key. And we have a critical hit on Game Boy's side, and Tristal taking out a Wyvern is going to get to level 5 here just past the 6-minute mark. Oh, and Wolves with Heal More.
Well, that's going to be annoying to take down the wolves. And they also have hurt.
Somewhat less annoying here. Tristal with minimal resources, trying to get over to the town. Meanwhile, here comes level 6 for Game Boy, and ooh, look at those totals. And was that Heal More that I saw?
I believe so.
Meanwhile, yet another magic key and an herb in the 2nd and 3rd chests, adjacent to one another in the mountain cave. And Game Boy, well, was working on a metal slime, but opts against here. And we've got a gold chest. You ran through there so fast, I missed something along the way.
The last chest, I believe, was another magic key, but I'm not sure.
I saw 2 magic keys, an herb, and gold. I'm not sure what the other one was. And Game Boy going in to get another torch. Oh, and there is technically a gold grind if you want to go the longer way with it. Interesting. What FTNG noting is that there is a potential grind based on whatever is in the basement here. So gameboyf9, having gone into the throne room, opened the 4 chests there, that takes advantage of a bit of a programming, I guess, limitation, for lack of a better term, in that the treasure chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, but due to those limits at the time, the game only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as open. So every chest open beyond the 8 chests can be taken over and over again. So in this case, having gone into the throne room, which the 3 chests that are there are always known as open, so that way you don't spawn or spam those over and over again. And then the 4 treasure chests in the Tangential Treasury. Now heading into the basement here, as long as there are at least 2 treasure chests, well, one of them will be openable over and over again. And there is level 7 now for Tristal, thanks to the metal slime.
And I believe Game Boy is actually in Swamp Cave, if I'm not mistaken, because he's going south more than usual.
So that would be the north end of Swamp Cave, so now heading out onto the other side, and we will see where it leads. Not to the back of Garenham. And yes, noting the Triss luck on Tristal's side, he was able to take out a metal slime for the maximum 255 experience, and that vaulted him from level 5 all the way up to level 7. Meanwhile, another town on Game Boy's side, and it is the town of Garenham. So locked behind the door are going to be 3 treasure chests. We shall see what they are here, as there's another death on Tristal's side. We've got gold, we've got an herb, and we've got the Stones of Sunlight. That is one of the key items needed to acquire the Rainbow Drop. And meanwhile, in the back of Garenham, we've got the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, which has the Silver Harp, one of the other key items needed. So just like that, about 11 minutes in, 2 of the 3 items that are needed acquired by Game Boy here in the Silver Harp and the Stones of Sunlight.
Youch! And Tristle gets knocked up by a knight with Dragon Lord breath. So adios and back to the king.
So Tristal now opting not to use the torch and is back in the mountain cave.
Gonna take the stairs into the lower end, and ooh, a fatal strike by the Star Wyvern on Game Boy. So we've got some gold, and Tristal able to get away. So we've got a magic key and an herb. So there were 2 gold chests, 2 magic keys, and an herb in the mountain cave. And the chat noting there for a moment that the gold amount for Tristal was the 777, so the Tris Luck, as it's known, continuing once again as Game Boy falling to a Demon Knight.
Well, these monsters are out for blood for today.
They most certainly are. We're in the quarterfinals of the tournament, and the enemies are not making it easy for our runners, as here comes level 8 now for Tristal, crossing the 600 experience mark. 14 power, no MP to speak of.
And speaking of another cave, Tristan found another one, but I believe that might be the grave.
I think so, and well, we have a red dragon with the Spell of Stop spell, and is casting it pretty frequently here. Game Boy going to try to give it a go. Red Dragon, one of the tougher enemies in the game.
Don't tell me this dragon is absolutely free for this seed.
Never mind. I don't know about that. Now that you say that, it hits for 40. So the law of average is starting to pick up a little bit, and only one more heal more for Game Boy to use. Meanwhile, we've got Fairy Water, a Dragon Scale, and a Magic Key in Garen's Grave. And Game Boy does take out the Red Dragon, so not only going up to level 8, but we're going to see what's in that searchable spike tile. And it's the Fairy Flute.
So that means there could be one of 2 possibilities now. Either the token's at Cole, or the token's the overworld item.
And up to NG noting in chat that Game Boy does love early Hawksnest grinds, so there could be a possibility of grinding up a little bit earlier. We shall certainly see. As Tristal continuing to traverse through Garen's Grave, it looks like. And Game Boy is going to go in and find out if there are any coordinates. So that will let us know, at least if nothing else, if there is the possibility of the armor being out there. And we've got 4 to the north and 15 to the east.
And I agree with Game Boy's move right here. It's just take the death and just go for the overworld item right now.
Yeah, I mean, Cantlin's close enough, and this is going to be very walkable, so sorry, Princess. Not going to be rescued this time around. It's going to be right in the middle of the swamp. How funny would it be if it was, oh, of course, the token in the middle of the swamp. Where does that seem familiar?
Is this even vanilla?
Well, no, this is Randomania. So that means by default, because Erdrick's armor has to be in a search spot, that Erdrick's armor is in coal. So once they find it and search 4 steps south of the baths, they will have the best armor in the game. Tristal, meanwhile, has found the Rainbow Drop Cave. That's where all the items are going to be traded in, and Breckenary on Tristal's side.
Welcome to Six Town, everyone, where everything is absolutely cheap for an inn.
Yep, a nice place to get a couple of items, see what's in the weapon and armory shop here, as despite having a big sword, they otherwise, well, Game Boy was able to pick up some clothes and a small shield, but Tristal can finally end the Ray Stevens streak here 19 and a half minutes in, and has finally put something on, in this case a half-plate armor.
Well, we do have a Sharlock site, and Game Boy just gained up to level 9.
Yep, level 9, modest stats, and usually those mid-levels tend to be a bit of a challenge, but not for our runners here, at least not as of yet. Although, as I say that, a Stone Man and a Demon Knight proving challenging to both, and both are heading back to the castle.
And I bet the key's like, I'm getting tired of picking up these dead bodies every time they get sent back here.
Not quite in stereo, but close enough, as both of our runners heading back toward the double towns here. And perhaps Game Boy, as Up to NG had mentioned in chat, going for that early grind on the Red Dragons.
It's not a bad strategy, but since we know that Red Dragons are casting Stop Spell like no tomorrow, probably it's the best time to grind at this rate.
And Tristal, I don't believe, has gone to Hawksness yet to see what the Red Dragon brings to the table. And ooh, brings 50 damage in this case. And Jake Coper, another one of our quarterfinalists, noting in chat, questioning the grinding here before having the armor, as it would be a significant upgrade to just the clothes that are there. The damage challenge that Game Boy has to deal with, I mean, with every time the dragon attacks, as it did there, I mean, you're looking at a damage range of, gosh, anywhere between 26 to 53 hit points of damage. And Tristal taking the intentional death to head on back here.
He's about to find out that token is waiting for him. Game Boy found Ribbledar, so he's gonna take that legendary chest in Ribbledar, see what that contains.
It has some big bucks.
My question is, do you still want to buy more keys, or you just want to pass them?
Well, I'm not sure what Game Boy's key count is, but I'm sure he's pretty confident in it to not necessarily run out. Both of our runners are very good when it comes to maintaining memory of their inventory. And level 9 now for Tristal.
We got level 10 for Game Boy. We got 33 speed, 0 HP,
33
and
speed.
I am just lost for words on that HP gain. On the speed itself alone, it's like, use it? We need to just have a little speed up here.
Well, because that factors in with the defense, that's essentially a gain of 16 defensive points. And Tristal getting sent back. Thanks to a blue dragon. And here comes a half-plate armor now for Game Boy, so that's going to ramp up the defense even more. So he'll be able to defense break a few more monsters here. Now, the way defense breaking works is when your defense points are the same as or higher than an enemy's strength, there's a different attack range that's calculated, resulting in less damage, and in pretty much every case, even as little as 0 hit points. So at this point, definitely more than half the enemies in the game will only do a damage range of, at absolute most, 10 hit points of damage. So Game Boy now taking out a wizard. Tristal heading through the swamp cave. And the only cave that I don't believe that our runners have found as of yet is the tablet cave. And I don't believe there was exploration deep into Garen's grave. Although given the items that have been found already, I'd be hard-pressed to think that either one is going to go deep into there. So Game Boy closing in on level 10. Tristal still getting some exploration in, and the adversary asking the question that I think a lot of us are wondering here: where is the town of Cole with the Erdrick's armor? And the red dragon out on the field extracting revenge on Game Boy. And Tristal going toe-to-toe with this blue dragon. Well, Tristal found a cave. I'm thinking that that might be... Oh, it's hard to say. That might have been the tablet cave, and Tristal not having any light source is opting not to traverse it. And DW Edit, the basement of Tanagel is the northern end of Swamp Cave. And Tristal hanging on just barely here and getting stop spell spammed and is not able to get away. And, oh, Dragon Lord Breath as well from the Red Dragon. Well, that is why the Dragon Warrior community knows the Red Dragon as the fun police, because when they show up, the fun tends to stop. And here is Game Boy getting level 11 right on the number, 2175. And DW Edit, yes, this is an elimination match, as the winner will move on to the semifinals. We're starting in the semifinals. It will be a best 2 out of 3. But this match here, the winner moves on and the loser is eliminated. And another cave. Pretty sure that is the tablet cave, but again, our runners really having no need to go into there at this point.
The only cave there I think they're trying to look for is maybe the Silver Harp cave. Not Silver Harp cave, sorry. The Jerk cave itself.
Well, before they can find the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave, because if you don't have all the items, most specifically Erdrick's token, it will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is. But they're looking for the Staff of Rain Cave to trade in the Silver Harp, or at least Game Boy is. Tristal still has to find the Silver Harp and the Stones of Sunlight, which... Well, we know that the Stones of Sunlight are in Garenham, and the Silver Harp is in the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, which is in the back of Garenham. Meanwhile, here is Tristal getting to level 10. The winner of this race tonight will advance to the semifinals to take on the winner of BTs and Zarnax 42. You can see that matchup here among the Randomania networks this coming Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, just a little over 48 hours from now.
And speaking of Garingham, Tristal's about to get his Stones of Sunlight and Silver Harp soon.
Sign, to answer your question in chat, there are no other tournament matches tonight. The way that it's lined up here, there will be one match a night for the next 4 nights. So we have this match tonight, then coming up tomorrow at 11:30 p.m. Eastern is going to be Jake Hoper against Nest Cardinality. And Game Boy F9 has found the Staff of Rain Cave, Tristal meanwhile finding the Stones of Sunlight. And we have the town of Cole. So Game Boy now has Erdrick's armor, the best armor in the game, and it has a lot of different benefits, including, well, not only does it have 28 defense points, which are certainly helpful. It also reduces the damage done by the hurt spells and the fire breath, including that Dragon Lord 2 breath. The stop spell is negated, so if an enemy casts stop spell on you, well, it will not have any effect. Also, for every step that you take, you heal 1 hit point of damage, and as you see in the swamp tiles as well as those barrier tiles, no damage is taken, as opposed to 2 damage per step in the swamps and 15 per step in the barrier tiles case. A nice 180 experience for Tristal, taking out a blue dragon, and a little bit of frustration and revenge. I think at least 3 of the 10 deaths that Tristal has endured so far have been at the hands of that blue dragon. And chat taking note that with Erdrick's armor and reducing the fire breath damage by 1/3, that means that instead of the 64 to 72 hit points of damage done by that Dragon Lord breath, it's only 42 to 48, which won't be an insta-kill given that our runners don't even have a max 72 hit points. And another set of Triss luck as a second metal slime being taken out, and that's going to move Tristal up to level 11. And DW Edit, I would think that there, for the moment, is I don't know about way ahead. I would think that Game Boy has a slight advantage in having found the Staff of Rain Cave and Erdrick's armor in the town of Cole, which are pretty close to one another. So I would say a slight lead for Game Boy, but if Tristal finds it fairly shortly, well, that lead will evaporate. As here comes level 12 now for Game Boy. And a third metal slime for Tristal. So just like that, the experience lead that was over 1,000 for Game Boy has already been whittled down to, what, around 500, I'd say? About 600, a little less than. So Game Boy F9 is looking for the Rainbow Drop Cave, which Tristal found earlier. Tristal is looking for the Staff of Rain Cave and the town of Cole, which will have Erdrick's armor. And back into Garenham goes Game Boy. And fans, don't forget to join. If you want to find out more about Dragon Warrior Randomizer, you can join the Discord. The link is in chat there. As well as giving the randomizer a try yourself, you can certainly download it. The link is there in chat. And info about the tournament is also there. And here is Tristal with the Staff of Rain Cave. So the difference only about 5 minutes, a little more than, between when Game Boy had acquired the Staff of Rain and when and Tristal had, and same for Erdrick's armor. And Mechalink to clarify, the semifinals, the final four, as well as the championship match will be best 2 out of 3. The quarterfinals here, they are single elimination. And Tristal encountering another metal slime. Can it be 4? It will not. And the Red Dragon taking out Game Boy. So both of our runners at this point, in terms of items acquired, are pretty well even. In terms of deaths, they are evened up at 10. This is really just the differential of experience, which is only a little over 500. And that can be easily made up or swung in any particular way. Here comes level 12 for Tristal. So Game Boy finding a cave and opting right back on out of it. The Blue Dragon on Tristal's side, continuing to be a thorn in his side.
And Game Boy is still looking for Rainbow Drop Cave, which he has not found yet.
Yeah, for those of you just joining us, we're 41 minutes into the race here, and it is fairly even. Our runners had acquired a set of wings to the start, so they were able to hang on to their magic key. They utilized it in the Tangential Treasury, where the Fighter's Ring, Death Necklace, and Erdrick's Sword were there. The town of Garenham held the Stones of Sunlight, and in the back of Garenham, well, there was the Stones of Sunlight Cave that contained the Silver Harp. And gameboyf9 has found the Rainbow Drop Cave and is going to acquire the Rainbow Drop here at 41 and a half minutes in.
It's even kind of odd that both players do not have Hurtmore. This is kind of a first for me to see that.
There have been some seeds where Hurtmore has come in the later rounds or the later levels, and that I actually don't mind that, as it gives, it creates that challenge for our runners to find ways to level up that aren't just utilizing the Hurtmore spell. So I'm as fun as it is for that fast and frenetic pace of a Hurtmore spell being acquired in the first maybe 2 or 3 levels. There's something to be said for Hurtmore being at level 16 and our runners having to earn their way to that spot. And it really tests the mettle of both of our competitors, and that's something you definitely want to see here in the later rounds of the tournament.
And I'm guessing Game Boy might be going back to Hawksness soon, because I think he's about to grind.
Well, at this point, having acquired all the things that are needed, Game Boy is essentially in grind and go mode. Is going to purchase the large shield to get an additional 6 defense points. That'll put him up to 80. So the wizard, if it is in Charlotte Castle, that'll be much easier to handle, as that will do anywhere between 0 and 14 hit points of damage. And here comes level 13. 9 power, 5 speed, 16 hit points, 6 magic points, and a spell. And both of our runners going to the Red Dragon, it looks like, to grind in Hawk's Nest. I don't know if either of our runners had gone to check what was in the swamp cave. I might have missed it if that was the case.
Oh yeah, that's right. No one has gone to the basement of the swamp cave to see what's guarding the princess.
Although, given the numerous castings of Stop Spell that the Red Dragon has, that might be the best option rather than something else here. So, Tristal now taking out the Red Dragon and finds the Fairy Flute. And both of our runners are working on the Red Dragons. In the meanwhile, we'll talk a little bit about the paths that both of our runners got to get to this point. In the 5 Swiss rounds, well, gameboyf9 went 3 and 2, falling to Tyrannex and McGrew and besting WMD88, the Tie-Dye Guy, and the Seawolf 1. Tristal, meanwhile, went 2 and 3, besting Captain Green 7 and Schubinator and falling to Nest Cardinality, Ouija Wee, and Mr. Holmes, but placed 3rd out of 13 in the play-in race, as now here comes level 13 for Tristal. And then once we got to the bracket stage here, Tristal, as the 21 seed, had won and defeated against Tyrannex as the 12 seed, and then defeated 5-seeded Jackamus to get to this point. gameboyf9, meanwhile, 20 seed, defeated 13-seeded Angry Larry, and 4-seeded up to NG to get to this point here in the quarterfinals. So now, for the moment, it looks like it is how efficient the grind is. Now here comes level 14 for Game Boy. 3, 2, 10, and 19, and another spell. So only about 3 minutes to get from level 13 to level 14. And that shows how efficient this grind has been.
Also, it won't be too long to get ready for Dragon Lord 2, because most of the stats are turning orange, but 2 of them were already green already for Game Boy.
Yes, the statistics that you've seen had started out red and white in the beginning because they were subpar. Once they turn to orange, that's when you maybe start contemplating going for the Dragon Lord. Once you see them at green, that's when you know you're in a good spot. So Game Boy thinking perhaps level 15 will be the level, but the strength is the issue. The strength you can see still in that white zone, although once it goes up even 1 strength, then it will get to level, it'll get to 80 strength points, and that, Game Boy falling to the dragon, the Red Dragon here, and the Dragon Lord Breath. Still had a fair amount of resources.
And I believe level 14 did give Game Boy hurt more, so buckle up, everyone. This is not going to be a long grind.
Oh, and Smashy noting that Hurtmore being acquired at level 14, that there was a miss menu as Game Boy meant to use the spell of Heal More, but it was a surprise. Oh, and Tristal having the same thing happen, but Red Dragon casting Stop Spell. So that death allowing Tristal to catch up a little bit. The differential in experience about 524. And with Hurtmore being absent for the first 13 levels, it's now a realization of, oh, it's here. I can't just hit down and hit A and cast Heal More anymore. So Tristal going to try to take one more out and gets an excellent move, critical hit to take out one more Red Dragon, and we'll be able to walk on out of there, head a couple of steps down, get to the inn, and go again. So won't lose a whole lot of time there. The Tris luck continuing. So now Tristal opting to perhaps head on over to acquire the Rainbow Drop. This is interesting. As meanwhile, Game Boy crossing the 7,500 experience threshold. Here comes level 15, 7 power, 4 speed, 13 hit points, 2 magic points, and another spell. And oh, might it be go time here? We're pretty close. $128 attack power. You'd be looking at doing a damage range of 7 to 14 on Dragon Lord 2, on the second form of Dragon Lord. And with 102 MP, you're looking at 12 heal mores.
But he's still under possibly like 10 HP away from using the Death Necklace if he levels up.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do so, as now Tristal getting the Rainbow Drop. And Falcon Can, yes, this is, the overworld map is among the things that are randomized, as well as the contents of the treasure chests and search spots, the locations of the town and caves, or towns and caves, the contents of the weapon and armor shops, also the locations of the enemies, as well as the enemies' spells and abilities, as well, and also the order of these spells that are learned are also randomized. And as Gantetsu noting in chat that there are some other modes, most notably Chaos Mode, that can make for some more intense randomization. And Game Boy F9 placing the Rainbow Drop and is going to be the first to head into Charlotte Castle here at 52.5 minutes into this race.
Let's see what's lurking inside the castle.
Well, we've got golems and stone men, and is able to get away. Falcon can also in the more recent versions, the experience has been optimized to match the Super Famicom remakes and some of the other remakes of the game, so that way the strong majority of the race here isn't grinding. So Game Boy taking out a Red Dragon. Plus, the other note is that the tournament flags for this this is the fast mode in terms of leveling, meaning that from what you remember from the original, it is actually 75% of each of those totals to get from level to level. And Tristal taking a long look at those statistics. Meanwhile, Game Boy is traversing through the first basement of Sherlock. A hero's run through the second, and now here's a werewolf. But goes encounter free through the third basement, now onto the fourth. As Tristal is going to grind up to level 16. So we shall see. And I wonder if at this point Game Boy, well, now on the fifth basement, a little much to think that he'll reach the 9750 to get up to level 16. Even with fighting enemies on the way down. But the wizards are certainly tempting. As mentioned earlier, and up to NG reinforcing it, they are the one enemy in Sherlock that he is damage breaking, taking anywhere between 0 and 14 hit points of damage. And Game Boy struggling with, but able to take out a red dragon. But you can see the hit points minimal and having to use some herbs up. Not bothering with the treasury as there's nothing in there of note. And we have armored knights. Now we haven't seen them, at least not that I recall this seed. And Game Boy able to run away. And a nice critical hit on that werewolf. And you can see just hitting for 3 damage there and another 8 there, not doing a whole lot. Tristal still working on the red dragons, and we've got a blue dragon here for Game Boy. Now, after taking out this blue dragon, so you're at 9175. That is just 575 experience away from level 16. Do you think about going for it, or do you just go for it here? Do you not even bother? And it looks like he's not even, well, he's walking, healing back and forth here, as now Tristal up to level 16. So I think Game Boy F9, realizing that the wizards are there, is going to just take out a couple and is going to just get that extra cushion level here. Now we saw the stats: 3 strength, 2 agility, 20 hit points, and no magic points. So 9750, the target number, just 360 away. And a huge clutch critical hit on that armored knight. And another 172 as Tristal now using the rainbow drop and is going to enter Charlotte Castle. But about 6 minutes and change after Game Boy. And here is a red dragon. This will put him over the number to get to level 16. And that is going to do it. Here comes level 16 for Game Boy F9, and a conversation with the Dragon Lord is pending. And he's going to put on the Death Necklace. Now, when you put on the Death Necklace, not only are you cursed, but a special feature programmed here in the randomizer gives you an additional 10 attack power, but at the cost of 25% of your maximum hit points. So you can see 141 attack power. He's going to do anywhere between 10 to 20 hit points of damage on that second form of Dragon Lord. Just quickly getting through that first form. And we have hit the hour mark here, and Game Boy is on the Dragon Lord, hitting for a max 20 to start off with. And another high roll of 19. So already at 39. And an 18 as well. Already at 57 and 3 attacks. And another 20. We're at 77 after 4 attacks. These rolls for Game Boy are out of this world. And there's a more worldly 12, but that still brings up to 89. And another 12 gets into triple digits, 101. Pending a miss menu, Game Boy F9 is going to advance to the final 4 here. Another 15. Put this to 116 at the moment. Here's another attack. Another 11. That's 127 at this point. As Tristal now on the final floor. There's a 19. That puts us up to 146. So this next attack could theoretically be the last one. And he hits for 16, 162, and Game Boy F9 is going to do it.
Well, get your GGs, everyone.
The defending champ moves on, and get out your GGs if you haven't already, as Game Boy F9 is going to advance to the semifinals with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 4 seconds. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from Game Boy pretty shortly here. However, Tristal already is at the Dragon Lord, so this is going to be extremely close. Probably about 2 to 3 minute differential here. Whew. There is Game Boy in chat. Game Boy, congratulations and GG. You have made the semifinals.
Oh man, that's and I had to make it against a very good opponent. So GG to Tristal. I bet he's near at the end. I gotta watch an advertisement to see where he's at.
Well, he is fighting Dragon Lord 1 as we speak.
Yeah, I figured. Oh, he's going at 16 too. I thought about going at 15, but it's just like, oh, it's just that one smidge too short.
Well, the difference was, as you were making the dive into Charlotte at level 15, Tristal, who had gotten to 15 maybe about 3 minutes after you did, opted to grind another level and get to 16 before even making the dive, and had a pretty swift run in doing so with just that extra little bit of statistics.
Yeah, I can't blame him for going for 16, grinding to 16 on Red Dragons. Not one bit.
Speaking of Red Dragons, Game Boy, how you like those Red Dragons after you got Edric's armor on?
So Lord of the Synth has a thing. Lord of the Synth, our restreamer, has a thing. In the previous seed I had against Up to NG, I got effectively a Super Famicom, Red Dragon, Stop Spell, and Baby Breath. This time I got, well, it turned out that it had Dragon Lord True Breath, but it was effectively, I mean, I pretty much just called out another attack and then just healed more in reaction. So, but I loved it though. That's kind of why I dived. That's kind of why I died, because I was hoping to run into some Red Dragons, and thankfully I did, and I was glad that they stop spelled. They maintained their 75% stop spell, so to speak.
Well, in looking at the numbers here, as much as you were hoping it was 75, and it probably felt like it, they actually had 50 on the stop spell and 25 on the Dragon Lord 2 Breath.
Yeah, I knew it was 25. I thought I could have sworn it was 75. I kind of thought it was. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it seemed like it was 75 to me, but I'll take it.
Yeah, well, they were certainly casting him early, and Tristal has just taken out the Dragon Lord and is making the walk up the promenade of Tantagel Castle and will obtain the accolades. And I figured it was going to be fairly close. The official SRL time, 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 23 seconds. Just 3 minutes and 19 seconds behind you. But certainly a gallant effort. I mean, sub 70 minutes in any Dragon Warrior randomizer seed is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. We in the first 5 rounds, I think we averaged about a 135, and now that we've entered the bracket stages, I think we're averaging about a 120, something like that.
Speaking of Tristal, GG Tristal.
Yeah, GG. Well done, Game Boy.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I had to beat a very good opponent. I will tell you that. Well played, Tristal.
Yeah, thank you. You had to beat a very lucky opponent as well. I definitely killed a few metal slimes. I don't know if you did as well. I can hear the screams of chat telling me just to go a level earlier, but I didn't think I was really close enough at that point. It would have been a really interesting finish if I had gone a level earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of going to 15 as well, but I was just like, the numbers just didn't add up for me.
Yeah, it was really close. No silver shield kind of did that for me, but yeah, I'm sure you had the same kind of thought process.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a gamble, because if I wasn't running into any Red Dragons down Sherlock, I probably would have tried on 15. But since I ran into Red Dragons, I was like, well, fine, I'll just go for 16.
Yeah, Game Boy, he went into Sherlock and made the dive at 15, and after taking out the mini boss, had just essentially done the heel walk back and forth along the trail to the Dragon Lord, and just fought enemies to get from 9,000 to 9,750 to get up to level 16 just before the encounter.
Yeah, I had debated doing kind of a similar thing just to get like level 15 and a half at Hawksness and then just try to dive, but not having seen things like Armored Knights and the like, I didn't want to take a chance that I would just, use up a bunch of heal wars on the way, and then level 16, not enough, would really just be deadly to me, because I'm sure you would have played it straight, so didn't want to go that way.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I haven't seen the AKs all seed long. Just like I think the last seed I ran into 0 Armored Knights, or a couple seeds ago I ran into 0 Armored Knights. So I don't know. It's kind of like the whammy, Sometimes you just don't see the whammy, and sometimes you see the whammy a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
As a matter of fact, I just watched the last 2 episodes of Press Your Luck. There were a total of 18 whammies those 2 episodes.
Certainly a great show and something to check out. We'll plug that some other time. We'll talk about that in the Discord there, which you can certainly check out as Falcon Can has put that up in chat here. So make sure to check out the Discord for more reactions, more impromptu races. I think there might be one scheduled for after this. At least there was some talk about it. You can also acquire the randomizer on there as well, and look at the rest of the info for the tournament. Which Tristal, you kind of had a heck of a run going. I don't know if I would necessarily want to call it a Cinderella run because I mean, even though you're listed in the tournament seedings as the 21 seed, I mean, you've proven here tonight and throughout the tournament that your skill far exceeds that. As I think you're in the top 5 of the SRL runners.
Well, I mean, with this race especially, I was just playing with house money. I mean, having to enter the bracket via getting third place in the play-in race, going 2 and 3 in the Swiss beforehand. So pretty much any win after that was just money. So, I mean, if you think about it, I think I went 4 and 4 in the tournament. So I'll take that compliment, I guess. This was sort of a below average tournament for me, but making top 8 at all. And there's obviously no shame to lose to Game Boy at all, of course. One of the best runners, if not the best runner. So good luck to Game Boy in the top 4. I'll be cheering you on.
Thank you very much, Tristle. I really appreciate that. And well done to you as well. Yeah, I understand you had the Final Fantasy Randomizer League. Did you play in the first race? How'd you do?
I did. I got 6th place out of 36. So I'm feeling a little bit better now than I was during practice when I was just routinely getting smacked around. So hopefully I can continue a good pace and have the rest of my teammates do well as well. Arteo won that first race yesterday, and he's on my team. So hooray!
Oh, gee. Oh, I was kind of wondering who was on the best team right now in Final Fantasy Randomizer, but we're definitely gonna root for you I'm definitely gonna root for you as far as Final Fantasy Randomizer League's concerned. We have a race on Randomania tomorrow night at midnight, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
Close enough.
that'll be on. Yeah, that'll be on Randomania 2 actually. So.
Yeah, we'll see if I'll join that one. I'm in Eastern time zone. I may or may not have work early in the morning, but that may or may not stop me. I mean, these seeds are only taking like an hour, right? So I can sacrifice that much sleep.
Until you get the seed from hell, and then it takes 2 hours.
For Jay Coper and Ness Cardinality's sake, let's hope not. But yes, that is the matchup tomorrow night. Just a little over 26 hours from now, it's going to be Jay Coper and Ness Cardinality, and I believe you mentioned it's on Randomania 2 tomorrow night at 11:30 Eastern. And then the third of our quarterfinal matchups will be Thursday night. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be BTs against Zarnax 42, and then to close out the round on Friday night at 9 o'clock, it's going to be Dataplet against Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, 3 very good races coming up. Really looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely not going to be any slouches in the top 4. If you make it to top 4, you damn well earned it.
Now, I don't want to start any rumblings yet, but do you think that after all of this, that it could be possible that for you're not necessarily likely, but there's certainly a strong possibility of for the 3rd year in a row, the finals being Game Boy and Mr. Holmes, the rubber matches?
It's like I want to say yes, but at the same time I want to say no. It's like for me, it'd be great for me to reach the final the 3rd time in a row, but for probably a lot of people watching and commentary, you're seeing the same 2 people winding up in the final every single year. So I mean, you got that going against you at the same time. So I have to look at it from both angles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to run into the oh goodness, I'm going to use a basketball reference here. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. You know, they just kind of seems like they were in there over and over again. Or back in the '80s, the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers.
See, I look at it from the other side of it. You know, just as a Dragon Warrior fan, it's almost like it's the match of destiny. It has to play out that way. Sorry, Zarnax in chat, but you know, if it happens, it's just epic.
Well, time will certainly tell on that. We still have a few matchups to make those determinations. I mean, I know in the beginning I had to throw a pick out there because oh come on, what do you think? And my pick was Nest Cardinality, as he had been right in the mix every time. And I mean, perhaps this could be his year to break through. We'll certainly see. But this isn't another breakdown here of the of what's left. We're I guess going to start breaking things down here, unless there are any final thoughts from either of our racers here.
No, I don't think so. I mean, once again, Tristal, great race. Definitely a great run out of you. It definitely was a relatively challenging map, that's for sure. It was like, where's the jerk? Where's the jerk? And I do have to say, I was pretty lucky in finding the silver harp like before I found the jerk. So I mean, that was nice. But
Actually,
once again,
Charlock
very
was the
good race.
last thing I ended up finding. Yeah, I kind of pigeonholed it. It was about the only place it could be at that point. But I mean, I found things in a reasonable order. I'm not too mad about the map at all, really. Cole being way tucked in the corner, I mean, that hurts us equally, kind of. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty fair.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah, well, GG Game Boy, very well played, and definitely best of luck in the top 4.
Thank you very much, and good luck to you in the Final Fantasy Randomizer League.